Hello everyone, this is Lontage Woods, Executive Director of the Torch Team Program and also founder of New Focus Family Youth Consultant, and I'm here with MJ Harper on the Queen Space Conversation. Check us out, we're about to dig into mental health and mental wellness.
Welcome to Queen Space Conversations. I'm your host, Mary MJ Harper, and today we have a very special guest, Miss Lontage Woods, joining us from right here in the DFW metropolitan area. I am so glad to have you in the Queen Space today.
I am excited to be here.
Yes, ma'am.
Definitely.
Welcome.
Thank you.
So this is our maybe third time meeting in person.
Yes.
I think the first time we got an opportunity to meet was last year sometime during the Arlington Merchant Mix.
Yes.
And in person rather. And then you got a chance to come to the Inspiring Women's Award Gala.
A fabulous
Yes.
Inspiring Awards Gala, top tier event.
Thank you. I'm so glad you got a chance to come. And then recently, just yesterday, again, at the Arlington Merchant Mix, I got a chance to be one of the keynote speakers on yesterday, so that was pretty exciting.
Yes, you did an awesome job.
Thank
you for those nuggets.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
So I'm glad you got a chance to come, and we were talking about the importance of leveraging your network at that event, and I talked about ways to expand your network and how to connect with people, especially when you're not able to go into a lot of networking events. And I gave an example of how you can use your online social media platforms as a way of networking. And that was one of the ways that I connected with you.
Definitely.
Via online social media searching, whether that be you sending me a friend request, I don't remember.
I think it was the 50 friends that you talked about.
It was probably,
friends in common.
Yes, we have friends in common, and so I don't know if it was me that initially sent you a friend request or, vice versa, but I noticed that we had a lot more friends in common, and I noticed that I started seeing your face at events, that I was either at or we were just missing each other. I'm like, I need to know that lady. What she keeps showing up? I need to be connected to her. And so, I'm getting that opportunity to get to know you, and get connected to you. So I definitely want to know more about you, more about who you are and what you do in the community. So let's tell all the Queen Space listeners, who is Lontage Woods?
Well, Lontage D. Woods, D. Shell is my middle name, so I go by LD sometimes. I'm a proud Louisiana native.
Okay.
Born and raised in a small area in central Louisiana, and oldest of 35 grandchildren. So I've been around kids my whole life, and I've been here in the DFW for 3 years. I'm an educator, 24 years, community advocate, youth advocate, mental health advocate. I just advocate for people living a well-balanced and a productive life.
Awesome.
It's all about being productive. What are you producing from whatever you're doing? What results do you want to see?
Yes. So you have a nonprofit organization.
I do have a nonprofit entitled Torch Team Program, and it was actually birthed from Torch, tackling opposition with resilience, character, and heart. And it is a brand of New Focus. And it just started out as a speaking title.
Okay.
And the youth empowerment part got really big. Started doing a lot of speaking for the city of Fort Worth, Rising Stars Leadership Academy. They gave me a contract, so I did several sessions during their summer camp in 22. And I was like, I'm getting more traction with the youth empowerment part because I also do women empowerment and family advocacy and youth mental health. Okay. So I decided to branch off and to make that a nonprofit. So we're doing that now and trying to branch off into Louisiana, have an area there, Oklahoma, Florida, and eventually nationwide. Our main focus is youth mental health and effective decision making.
So when did you know that was your calling, that was your niche, that's what you were meant to be doing?
To work with young people?
Yeah.
When I was about 9 and my grandfather said, you're in charge of your cousins. I could no longer participate in the Easter egg hunt and get the $20 and finding the golden egg or the chocolate rabbit. That's what I knew.
You had to be in charge.
I had to be in charge, and
Yeah.
I've been in charge ever since, which I'm trying to relinquish some of that to my younger cousins. But I also come from a family of educators.
Okay.
So, and I love school. I always love to learn. I always love books. You know, I saw the young man reading just now. That was me as a kid.
Yeah.
You know, it opened up the world to me coming from a small area. So
Okay.
I kind of ran from wanting to be an educator. So they don't make any money, but God kind of circled me back to that. My undergrad is in child and family studies and human development. So just love studying about people and helping people and, you know, the family unit.
So we know that in today's society, young people, they deal with a lot.
Definitely.
They deal with a lot, coming from their schools and their peers, family. You know, they deal with a lot. There are a lot of expectations that are set on them to keep up with things, you know, from the standpoint of social media, you know, just, you know, Instagram, TikTok, you know, all these different perceptions that are unrealistic. And a lot of times they don't know, you know, how to discern truth from reality, and it creates a lot of insecurities for young people, you know, and it creates a lot of anxiety and causes them to deal with a lot of mental health issues and things of that nature. What's some of the main things that you see young people struggling with in your field?
Okay. I think you hit on something when you said the word perception. So I'm gonna date myself. I'm almost 48. When I was growing up, again, I grew up in a small area. So outside of what I saw on TV, that was my world.
Yeah.
Now they literally have the whole world in their hand via this device. So
Yeah.
all the different perceptions that they're seeing, all the different images and things that they've been exposed to, who's helping them decipher that?
Yeah.
You know, and again, because a lot of it is glamorized behind money and fame and popularity, the perception of it is my worth has to be aligned with those things in order for me to mean something. And when that doesn't happen, and you're already a young person trying to formulate your own identity, it causes a lot of stress. So when you talk about mental health, that's an ongoing thing, but mental well-being is based off of something that happens in a silo, such as the recent school shooting. So now you have more kids on alarm of watching what's going on, because that's a silo situation. But ongoing is just everyday stresses of life. You know, I'm an educator, like I said, so I work mainly with freshmen and seniors. So I'm working with those just coming into high school, those about to leave. Those that are coming in, they're trying to adjust to middle school is a totally different situation. Now I'm in high school as a 9th grader. I'm new to this campus, as opposed to being the seniors on the campus in middle school last year. High schoolers are adjusting to what am I going to do with my future? You know, what type of career goals do I have? Will I have enough money to go to college if I decide to go to college? Will it burden my parents? Do I want to do the military? Do I want to take a gap year? Which is something that we never heard of in this country until a few years ago. You know, a gap year has been going on in European countries around the world for years. But now you have seniors that graduate and say, I don't know what I want to do, so I'm going to take a year to kind of quote unquote find myself.
Yeah.
Do you have your parents' support in agreeing with that, or will people make you feel like you need to have a plan soon if you walk at that graduation stage? All of these are stresses that young people are dealing with, along with everything else again that they're exposed to from social media and just the world around them.
Yeah.
You know, so
And
think about that at 17 years old.
And it's a lot.
It's a lot. It's overwhelming just thinking about it, just talking about it. But to have to live in that type of situation day in and day out, and not having the support of your family, or not having the support of someone that you can talk to and help you kind of align those things to what direction do I want to go in, it can be overwhelming.
I know that's one thing that, you know, I promote, is being a good advocate for your children. That's something that I've always strived to be for my daughter, is a good advocate. And I believe that starts with a good line of communication between she and I. And so we always make sure that we have open dialogue with each other. I want to know what's going on with you. What did they say at the school? You know, what did the counselor say? What did the instructors say? What were your thoughts on this? What are you thinking about your friends?
When did that start?
Yeah.
What age did that start for you all?
For us, that started from the time she could speak.
So that foundation was laid.
Yeah.
And you just continued to build on it.
Yeah, that foundation was laid, and we continued to build on it. When she would get in the car, even as early as 5 or 6, Mommy, little so-and-so did so-and-so at school today, and so on and so forth. And I asked her, really? And what did you think about that? How does that make you feel? Do you think that, and I would have engaging conversation with her about that, because I wanted to know in every stage of her life as she developed what was her mindset.
Right.
Then you need to know that it's okay to share that with someone, and that you're safe with me, because I'm going to be honest and I'm going to tell you, right from wrong. I'm gonna try to help you to process what you're thinking, your emotions, your thought patterns, so I'm gonna help you be able to break that down. That's our responsibility as parents, and not to just send them in the room, to let them get on TikTok or Instagram and let somebody else tell my kid how to process their thoughts or feelings, when that's my responsibility.
You provide to them a perception that may or may not be. Most of the time, it's not a reality.
Correct.
In this generation, if you give them that safe space, they're going to tell you.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yes.
They say 100%, keeping it real, letting you know, this is how this made you feel. And I also like the fact that you say you allowed your daughter to have her own thoughts about things. I love my grandparents. They raised me. I think they did an amazing job. But in the era I grew up in, if an adult said the sky is purple and we know very well it's blue, you want to say
you
yes,
better
ma'am.
not say it. Yeah.
You weren't allowed to have your own thoughts about things because I said so.
Yeah.
This is not the generation for that, because again, they have so many different things that are being brought to them. They're going to question.
It ain't nothing your mama ain't did out here. If you want to know anything, you come to me, because yes, experience is a good teacher. And this is what I tell her.
Too.
Yes, experience is a good teacher, but every experience doesn't have to be yours. I experienced something so that you would not have to.
Kids now, you can't protect them from anything. You can't, because it's all out there. So they kind of filter between what should I share, and because they think if you overshare, then it's going to say, well, you did it,
So I look at some of the things that I've experienced as a young woman, and that I've learned along the way. And so me and my daughter, we have a unique relationship.
I can tell. I kind of saw it last night and also at the gala.
Yeah.
And I kind of got at the end and was like, she had to kind of put you in some time out sometimes and go to bed. And but it also shows that when you model great things for your children, you know how to come back and make sure that you're good.
Yeah.
And kind of take that same advice and say,
put it back on you. Yeah.
Well, she did it out of love, of course. But So that's a great tool to use.
Yeah. And so it works for us. We have a great relationship. I have had friends along my parental journey to say to me sometimes when we're conversing, why are you talking about that in front of her? Or, I don't feel comfortable talking about that in front of her. I get it. Some of it is relationship stuff. Some of it is feminine stuff, And I pick and choose.
Yeah, of course.
I have picked and choose. She's a young adult now. But along this time, I have picked and choose what conversations I allow her to be privy to and what conversations I have not. I understand that, my friends have, discretion when it comes to their personal things. But, when we talk about me, you can't tell me what I can share with mine. And so I've allowed my daughter to see a lot, intentionally so. I've allowed her to see me fall in love. I've allowed her to see me with my heart broke. I've allowed her to see me make good decisions. I've allowed her to see the consequences of my bad decisions. I've allowed her to see what love looks like when it feels good, and what it looks like when it don't.
Right.
I've allowed her to see what healthy relationships look like, both in friendships, relationships, intimate relationships, with family. I've allowed her to see what positive, healthy relationships look like, and I've allowed her to see what toxic relationships look like. And I have expressed to her, and she's seen what the difference is. And not only have I allowed her to see me in them, but I've allowed her to see me have enough sense to get out of them.
Right.
You know, I've allowed her to see me fall, and I've allowed her to see me get back up again. You know, and when I'm going through these different phases or these different situations, I'm not just allowing her to see it and not having a conversation with her about it. I talk to her about it. You know, we talk about it. Well, you know, Farrah, I didn't make the best decision with that money this time. We're gonna have to eat on a budget. You know, but when you make bad decisions, this is what happens. So, you know, I want you to see that this was the consequences of this bad decision. So when this next influx come through, we got to budget a little better. We got to do a little better. And I let her see that, you know.
And I think we have to allow young people to see the full scope, whether it's you as a parent or even, you know, myself as an aunt and just with the teens that I work with. Because if not, we're not giving them a reality check of what is to come.
Yeah.
We don't want them to have those things. But if they do, they can say, I remember Mom went through that. I remember Miss Lontage went through that. I remember I saw the celebrity go through it on TV and they edit out 3 minutes of it went from bad to good. Because it's not going to happen in 3 minutes. You know, I've been here in the DFW. It'll be 3 years this July.
Okay.
I started New Focus, my business, in May of 22. So it's been 2 years for that. And, you know, I've met some wonderful people. I would not take away from those experiences. But I think, if you ever heard of the quote, familiarity breeds contempt. So when you become too familiar with something, it's kind of like you don't really, not say respect it, but it's like if you get in your car and every time it starts, you expect it to start. But the time you get in and it doesn't start, it's like you start taking for granted that I had a car that was working, I could just get in and go where I need to go. And I think sometimes that can happen in relationships, personal, family, and also business relationships, you know. And because what I do has such a profound impact on people, I want to make sure that I'm maximizing all of the opportunities to grow and to be who I need to be mentally. And I was just kind of getting burnt out here in the DFW, supporting a lot of people, going to a lot of networking events, seeing some results. But when I looked at the bottom line, it was just kind of like, I need to stretch it. So I made an intentional part of my quarterly plan, where for 2 quarters, going into ending out 2024, that I wanted to network outside of the DFW. That meant you got to pull some resources out to be able to do that. But it's called an investment, because anyone that's in business, they should know that you're not going to see results right away where you can be able to say, okay, this is a lifestyle business for me. And I've been very open about whatever I make, putting it back into the business, because, you know, I'm still a full-time educator and I'm going to be retiring soon whenever God gives me the green light, and you know. But I also know that I want to be able to have my network reach be so substantial, again, where when it happens, God will just already have those people in those situations in place, because I've laid a foundation.
So what do you say to the virgin entrepreneur, or to that entrepreneur still a little milk behind their ears or struggling, when they get on social media and they see other people in the community, and every other day they're posting, you know, about what they've been able to accomplish with their business? They're posting every other day, oh, I got this win, I got this yes, I got this, I'm doing that. And what do you say to that entrepreneur that begins to feel discouraged, like, man, how are they doing all of this and they're getting all of that and I'm not getting that far? I feel like I'm, you know, not accomplishing what I need to accomplish. And, you know, how do you address to that person from the aspect of their mental health?
Right. I think the first thing we need to realize is that everything on social media, on everyone's platform is not real. Not saying that these things you're seeing are not true wins, but I think also you have to make sure that you have a concrete plan, not just a business plan, but a plan on a practical sense of you have to expect some things not to go your way. And then you don't know the whole concept behind what people have been doing to get to that point. Like I said, it depends on what type of business it is. The most profitable business that I see from networking is anything dealing with food, anything dealing with event planning, because those are big things now.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a consultant, I'm in a social service business. So when you're talking about social service, my target audience a lot of times is really other entities and organizations.
Yeah.
Such as NAMI, such as City of Fort Worth, and these different, contract entities, these municipalities that have funds to help with social impact.
Mm-hmm.
But when you're looking at other people having wins and what they're doing, there's some things you may be able to take from them, but then you also, like I said, have to be realistic about what your goals are.